Patrick Carney, RKD Architects, the director with the firm since 2016. For the last decade and a half, I have produced data centers and I'm enjoying it immensely. It is possible to make them beautiful, and then it's the selection of materials, also the appropriate scale that needs to be added to the data center. I mean, the data centers themselves are fairly massive monolithic entities, sheds if you want to call them that, but where the human interface will have to be at a smaller scale. So getting that comparison balance can lead to beauty. We can look at like the AEG factory done in the 1940s, where it was just a massive building, but they made all the doors the wrong size, so the building didn't look quite as big. We've done exactly the same on some data centers as well. We've used the loading bays and made them look like main entrance doors, but they're not. They're actually loading bay doors, which give a different scale to the building and bring it right down on a more ergonomic footprint. And then, of course, the selection of materials. They are such a massive building. In themselves, their mass and their context allows you to play with that scale and colour that you can't do on other buildings. They are, in effect, modern-day cathedrals. So we can play with a palette of colours, and we can have from dark to light rising over many stories of height that then give the whole building a different scale as well. And we can reverse that. We can either bring it down or bring it up. So yes, it is very possible to make data centers very beautiful. Getting artists involved in data centers is a massive opportunity. We have actually done that on some of our data centers. Unfortunately, because of the nature of a data center, that aren't necessarily on public display. It's not there. It's locked away behind closed doors. But you get communities in. We've had occasions where we've had groups of school children come in and paint murals on walls. And they get to take that photograph of that mural when it's done for their own school paper. And it had the community involvement. And part of that function was opening up the data hall. When they first arrived, there was a great mystique about what were they? Are they Big Brother? What goes on inside them? And by involving the community and getting children in there to add art to them, it removed that mystique. So it's good PR for the data companies, it's good community relations for the building entities in the areas, and it's also good for local authorities to see this overarching involvement and getting art into the buildings. It's great to be here. There's so many interesting people turning up here. There's great interaction, getting networking, and the variety of clients and people coming to London. I don't know whether it's the DCD or it's the London that's been the attraction, but it's a great location, it's a great emphasis. Billingsgate itself, a fantastic location. I mean, you couldn't get better. And it's just a wonderful building to be in. It's fairly adaptable as well. The face-to-face meeting, they're getting to press the flesh, as we would say, is always going to ride over any of the conference calls. I mean, it's always that moment when you've spoken to somebody over a number of months on a Skype call and you actually get to meet them in person. You get that whole nuance that you don't get across the call. The little innuendos in the voice and the inflection in the curvature of a smile or a lip or a twinkle of an eye that you just don't get. That human contact, yes. The panels and the conferences here, they're very interactive. There's a great selection of people from very diverse fields. Myself as an architect, when I come here, I would never normally get to meet a manufacturer of a server or somebody putting in a UPS unit, and to get to talk to them and to listen to their perspective on what we're doing. There was Dr. Hadid. She had a survey done on the effectiveness of data centers in Europe. It's quite illuminating to see all of the things we're trying to achieve and not achieving. So it's nice to delve into that data and then work back into that to see, is there a way we can improve what we're doing? So all of that, and the fact that DCD allows us to get together and have that overarching community spirit, is wonderful.